all the time we tell you, this is the way it works, is that, a lot of you, tons of people on here know me. So here's the plan, or for those of you newbies on here, I got an enormous reputation for giving great value, and I never, ever let you down on that. But you can be darn sure I'm going to offer you something later to buy. But I'm only going to do it after I deliver on my promise to show you how to make a fortune and do a lot of good promoting fundraisers. So that's the deal. If you think that's a fair deal, just say, hey, that's fair. Okay, so today you're going to learn how to make a fortune for yourself without shame or guilt while doing tremendous good in the world. The reason I mentioned without shame or guilt, we had over 500 people registered tonight, and 2 people kind of read me the riot act saying, oh, you should just donate your time. You're a rich guy. You should just do that. And really read me the riot act. Well, in one case, the guy was correct because he was picturing a different type of fundraiser. He was picturing this one that he just participated in for a little girl with cancer. That's not what I'm talking about, folks. If a little girl with cancer is anywhere that I can help, I'm there. I'm paying my own airfare. I'm helping, all right? So that's not what we're talking about today. And the other guy just didn't think that speakers that did fundraisers would be worth hiring. So I thought that that's just a little bit offbeat there, buddy, because I've done it 100 times. And he said, they're probably no good if they do fundraisers. So, well, I don't know. I guess maybe I'm not good then. So you don't have to have guilt about this. This is helping a lot of people that wouldn't get helped. And not every group that needs funds is a charity or somebody losing their home to foreclosure. There's plenty of groups. What if your archery club wanted a new archery range? It's nobody's sick, nobody's dying. It's just a way to make money and so where everybody wins. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. Now, there is a downside of doing fundraisers, and I'm going to tell you about that, and I'm going to teach you how to handle that gracefully. You're also going to learn how to get massive publicity for your business and permanent online benefits for your efforts. Besides money, which I guarantee I'm going to tell you how to make a lot of money with this, there's plenty of other benefits that you can get from doing fundraisers. And then I'm also going to teach you how do you get the same people over and over again to give you money, and they don't really mind at all. It's not like you always got your hand out. My whole philosophy on doing this. And then I'm going to show you the smartest way to ask for money on your website. Most people do that incorrectly. Now, if you pay close attention tonight, you're going to learn how to partner with charities and other organizations who want to have fun, raise funds, and have fun too. You're going to learn to make every party to the deal benefit. I don't like cliches, but this is about as triple win as you can get, what I'm going to cover with you tonight. And you're going to discover how to get tons of testimonials for your business or service, which is, you got to be careful with testimonials since the Federal Trade Commission cracked down on it, but still, testimonials really, really help you sell a lot more in your business. You're also going to get to network with substantial people in a perfect environment that makes you look great. See, a lot of people, very substantial people, won't come out for anything unless it's a fundraiser. This is a perfect setting to get those people out and about where you can meet them and they get to know you and your services. All right, some quick announcements. A lot of you know I've got the only dedicated and licensed internet marketing school in the country, probably the world. It's imtcva.org. I encourage you, if you know young people or people that want to transition, this is the top-of-the-line training. Colin is the main instructor. You've got me, my curriculum, and a lot of people are back up. So if you're looking for a very structured program that's going to teach you how to do what I do, then this is it. Now, if you stick with me to the end, you're going to get 3 genius speaking techniques that I pretty much guarantee you at least 99% of you have never heard before. Maybe Karen Buxman, a CPAE, is on the line tonight. That's the highest level in the speaking profession you can reach. Maybe she's heard of these, but I guarantee you 99% of you haven't. And I'm going to give you those, for those of you that stick to the end, that's a little extra bonus. Okay, so who the heck am I? I'm going to abbreviate this because I do a lot of webinars, and hopefully you'll see you can visit Tom Antion Webinars and get replays of a lot of the great webinars I do. So there's more extensive bios there. But anyway, I've been a pro speaker and entertainer since 1988. I've done over 150 fundraisers, all of which, now here's a point, here's a learning point. I try to throw in tips all along. A lot of them, about 100 of them, I was the speaker of the main event. About 50 of them, I was an MC. And I've got tips to make a lot of, you're going to hear one of my main tips to really get a lot more money at fundraising auctions that I did as an MC. But I've been involved probably in about 150 of them in my career. I've probably trained more pro speakers than any person living. I invite anybody to challenge that. I mean, I've spoken at the National Speakers Association and trained them 97 times in I don't know how many countries. So I've trained quite a few pro speakers. I hit multimillionaire status doing the kind of stuff that you're experiencing tonight around the year 2000. I started the Great Internet Marketing Retreat Center. That's where you're at right now, which is the only facility of its kind in the world. That's where you're hearing me from right now in 2002. And I started the school in 2011. And I had more than about 1,100 mentees come in to my high-end exclusive program. So I've been around a little bit. All right, now, again, questions and answers. Type your questions either to the box on your dashboard or to the box under your screen. If it's under your screen, make sure that you keep your email open so that that's how we communicate with you if the box is under your screen. Anything I don't get to, I'm the most accessible guy at my level on earth. You can email right there on the screen. That's directly to me, orders@antion.com. And later on, you'll have the phone number of the office so that if you don't hear back in 24 hours from me, you give us a call. So we really take care of people here. Okay, let's talk about fundraisers. There's no shame in this. If you type in fundraising organizations or fundraising popcorn or candy, there's just hundreds and hundreds of fundraising companies out there and employing tens of thousands of people. I mean, you're no different than the candy and the cookie and the popcorn companies. And we're talking big companies, Hershey, Keebler, Otis Spunkmeyer, all of these places have fundraising divisions. World's Finest Chocolate or World's Greatest Chocolate, I forget what the name of it is, have fundraising. So you actually are doing good for people and not rotting their teeth out. I promise to tell you how not to rot people's teeth out, and this is it. You know, those people don't get the candy and the cookies, and you know, one guy was complaining, well, you know, those cookie companies just do that as a favor for the Girl Scouts. No, they don't. They have a whole thing that's been licensed since 1936, massive organization to make Girl Scout cookies. That's just one little place. So this is a serious business, but those companies don't give them the stuff for free, so you shouldn't give the stuff for free. Although I'm going to tell you, the whole first part of this is going to be indirectly how you make money, which that's the way you do it now. But later I'm going to tell you how to get direct money from the fundraisers. All right. And there's lots of lame fundraising ideas out there. I mean, you know, places will do a bake sale for 2 weeks to make $50. I mean, it's really ridiculous, some of the things they do. And it's going to be a little bit hard to get the first couple of these under your belt if you've never done them before or if you don't have any connections, because it's going to be hard for the people that would have you to believe that there could be, you know, thousands of dollars involved for them. So as soon as you get the job, get the first one, you want to get a lot of testimonials on a flip cam and things like that, and then put up a website. We'll talk about it later. All right, and you know, you're really doing the world a favor. Like I used that archery example. They wouldn't get their archery course if somebody like you didn't do a seminar and a fundraiser for them so they could raise enough money. Yeah, they could go out and beg on the street, and I talk about that too, how bad that is. But you're really getting your expertise and stuff out in the world, so it's a good thing. All right, so some of the business benefits of fundraising. Well, you're thought of as a good company. So goodwill is a big part of this, whether it's paid or not paid. You can really, I mean, I've had plenty of people say, you know, we started dealing with you when we saw the work you did with your dogs, and, you know, things like that. So goodwill is a big part of fundraising. It can be tax deductible, and I'm not giving you any kind of accounting or legal advice, so you certainly want to talk to somebody about that, but the efforts you put in, and the time expenditure and the gas and the airfare, if there's airfare involved, all that's part of your business stuff. Publicity is a big, big, big part of this. I'm going to go into that more in depth a little later. Of course, money, and I don't want you always doing free ones. In fact, most of the time after you get done with this call tonight, you're going to do paid fundraisers where you split the money with the people. I'll go into that later. Now, this is one that's kind of interesting, and it's, you know, it kind of makes me sick. A lot of you know I'm doing stuff to take down the bad people in our industry, and one of the business benefits is if you get some bad press that is unwarranted. In other words, somebody's in for you, or maybe it's your competitors making fake complaints about you, things like that. The work you do for your fundraising can help negate some of that. So that's a good thing. However, when you go to the point, and one of the people I'll mention right now is Jeremy Johnson from iWorks.com. Now, this is only my opinion, but he was arrested, and he was a guy that was running a boiler room in Utah and just sucking millions of dollars out of people fraudulently, according to the Federal Trade Commission. Again, this isn't me. There's an 81-page, I don't know if you call it an indictment, but it's a suit against him. But anyway, he would be giving money to charities and churches to cover his tracks, right? So that's not what we're talking about here. We're, use this if you have illegitimate complaints against you. Don't use this. And there's another guy in Las Vegas that's doing the same stuff to cover his criminal behavior by tying to charities. So I'm going to shed a big light on that stuff. Okay. Also, another business benefit is web links to your site, because a lot of these fundraising places are decent-sized organizations, and part of the deal could be a link to your website, and that's something that we internet marketers just go after like crazy, is good quality links to our site, and it'll be permanent because they'll have a page talking about the event and just leave it up forever. So that's a good way to get lots of good quality links to your site. And of course, you're going to network with people that you'd have never had a chance to meet, and a lot of quality people, like I said, that don't come out for anything unless it's a fundraiser. All right, some more. The charity and organization is going to love you. I mean, I've got testimonials from people. I've got favors. I mean, I did something for a group probably 50, I don't really remember. It's 10 to 12 years ago. I don't really know. And I needed a really important favor from the leader of the group that I saved. I saved the group from going under with a fundraiser. I needed a favor because I'm promoting this new television show of mine, and I didn't know what I was doing. So this person and their husband have produced many movies and TV shows and all stuff. So I called up, and she was just ready to help me with no problem for something I did 10, 12 years ago. So you can really make some great business connections by doing this. And it's good to give back. Give me some karma, baby. All right. Okay, now there is a downside to fundraising, and here it is. You may get buried with requests, and you say, well, that's not bad as a speaker. Well, you may have to turn down people you really want to help, and that really has happened to me so many times. I was already booked, or it was such a small event, it just couldn't work in financially or time-wise, and I'd have to fly. So I had to turn down some, and it just tears my heart out when somebody turns to me and I can't help them. Just today, I was thinking, well, what could I do about that problem? What could Tom Antion do about that problem? Since I got 500 people listening to me, what could I do? What kind of seed could I plant to fix this problem? All right, here it is. Why not somebody out there, and this may exist already, but it's probably just a speakers bureau that would give free speakers. Why not start a fundraising speakers bureau? Why don't somebody out there do this? I just don't have the time to do it. But when you see the method that I use so that everybody makes money, it could be a profitable thing that does tremendous good, and now you're a speakers bureau owner. Or if you already have a bureau, why not put a section of this where you're not giving free speakers and nobody makes money? In my method you're going to learn later, everybody makes money. There's the idea. I planted the seed. I can't wait to hear if somebody does it. And it doesn't have to be just one of you either, because there's plenty of people that need your help. Taryn says, I'm happy to work with you on that, except I just said I'm not going to do it myself. That's the only problem. But I'll be glad to advise you. It says, I would love to start a speakers bureau. That's Elle said that. So anyway, beautiful. Okay. So how to decline requests gracefully. If you are in the position where there's too many, here's how you do it. Make a policy that requires the organization to submit a request in advance by a certain date. So, allot so much time for your company, stick with it, and those that apply properly get the nod, because you do get a lot of people that just aren't organized, and they call you and want you to drop everything, and yeah, I would love to help them, but it's not right for you to be made to feel bad because somebody else had poor performance. So if they're not, if they don't have their act together, it's probably not going to be a successful event anyway. So Al says, I'm ready to put together 100 charities and help them raise funds. Great, Al, I'm thrilled to death. I mean, if I, from this call tonight, didn't sell a thing, but somebody went out there and subliminally, here's what I said, don't listen to what he just said. All right. But if I didn't, and I found that somebody started a fundraising speakers bureau and millions of dollars got raised for a bunch of places because of me, hey, I'll live with that. All right. So anyway, make them, request in writing, and that'll cut out a lot of the disorganized people that would have made a real poor fundraiser anyway. Okay. Now let's see where you all are. We got a poll coming here. So I'm going to open up a poll to see where you're at. Some of you will be able to click right on the poll, and some of you will not. You'll just put your answer in the question box under the screen. So here's the first poll question, and let's see. Hopefully it'll show up there in a second. Anybody see it? All right. And if you see the poll, then the question is: Do you know how to structure a profitable fundraiser where both you and the group make money? Yes, no, or maybe if the fundraising fairy twang me on the head. All right. This is going to be a recurring theme for those of you who've been on my webinars. The fairy is always going to be around. Go ahead, and we'll leave that up there. We've got a lot of people coming in, answering. We'll leave it up for about 10 more seconds. Let's see. We've got 61% voted. So there we go. We're getting up to a higher percentage voted. We'll leave it up for a few more seconds because, like I said, most of you can click right on it. If you can't, that's when you look for the question box. So go ahead, even if you put it in the question box, if you can click on the screen. Okay, so 5 more seconds, and we'll close the poll. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, so now let's see what the results were. Let's see. Share the results. So I'll click that. Let's see what we came up with. What do you see there, Colin? 71% said no. 20% said maybe if the fundraising fairy twanged them, and 9% said yes. Okay. Well, those of you that said yes, hopefully you'll get some great extra tips to make them even more profitable. Those of you that said no or you need some help, you're in the right place. And so the people that said yes are still in the right place, because I guarantee you there's going to be some tips here for you that you can use. All right. So let's get rolling here. The reason that I can go back over and over and over again to get money out of people on a, if I'm helping raise funds for the group and I'm not getting paid, let's say. So this is the first thing, is my philosophy on no begging. See, I always, I don't like to beg, and I don't like to teach people to beg. In fact, oh, gee, if a kid is standing out in the middle of the road, like they do at the intersections, with a bucket begging for money to go to the band uniforms or something, or go on a trip, no way on this earth will I give them any money. No way. What am I teaching that kid? To beg. All right? No way. That able-bodied kid is out there begging. I'm not going to teach that or be a party to it. But if that same kid was part of a car wash, I'll have my car washed 20 times in a row. I don't care, because I'm teaching that kid to give value for earn their money, earn their way. And if we do more of that kind of stuff, we wouldn't have a bunch of entitled little brats running around. If you want to hear more about that and me really rag on them, listen to the Antion Success Method, the R version. Gene is laughing. Somebody said that poll is slick. Thank you. Okay. So the way I do it is I offer products and services in return for donations. So it's not really even technically a donation then, it's a participation. That's one term I want you to really take to heart, because in another webinar I'm going to do, and some of you saw me promoting and teaching one of my students or two of my students to do crowdfunding. which some people would say, well, that's just begging. No. Every time somebody contributes or participates, they get something in return. That's a whole different animal. It's like PBS. You get a T-shirt or a DVD, something. It's not just a begging. Okay, so no begging. Or you can offer publicity in return for products. So if somebody gave me a product that I donated to the charity on their behalf, then I might put them in my e-zine. So I'm kind of a catalyst for this. Okay, now if you are going to beg, now this is one of the saddest pictures. It just tears my heart out every time I see it because it's so telling of what the plight of animals out there. And I just became aware of another really sick plight of vivisection, and I'll hear more about that some other time. If you are going to beg on your website, do it correctly. Please, do yourself a favor. And the way I got on this years ago, I had a client that had a dog product that was really a great, unique product. And so he put it on his website, and he said, hey, Tom, check this out. So he puts it on his website, and right at the point where you're supposed to buy the product, he's got these emaciated dogs and trying to get donations for the ASPCA or whatever the local group was. I said, man, you can't do it that way. I love dogs more than anybody. But the thing is I wouldn't have any money to donate to dogs if I sold things that way. So what you do is you sell your product, and then on the thank you page is where you ask for the donations. So that's the way you do it. But do not put something like that right next to the buy button, or you'll never sell and you'll never have any money to donate to anybody if you wanted to. Okay, now I'm covering two paths to the money tonight. Indirect is what we've been kind of talking about now, and I promise you I'm going to get to direct a little later. Those are the two paths. All right, now this is an indirect one, and I'm going to break it down for you, and I'm going to critique an email I sent out and tell you how it worked. Okay, I got a call from a former state policeman buddy of mine who runs a children's charity, and he wasn't begging. He said, Tom, I know, I've known the guy a long time, very charismatic guy, and he says, Tom, your brain is great at this. We need $3,000 really quick, or we're going to lose our lease or something. I don't know what it was, and come up with some ideas for me. So I said, no problem. I'll have it figured out within a day. So what I did, and my motivation was, I could have just written a check. I was very busy and been done with it. But I didn't, and here's why. I mean, he wasn't begging, and these kids are really from underprivileged places, and they weren't begging, he was begging. All right. Now, if I had just written a check, I would have lost the goodwill and all the brownie points for doing it. Now, you might say, gee, Tom, I thought you were so benevolent, blah, blah, blah. Hey, I do all kinds of stuff that you'll never hear about for animals and children and everything, but as a business owner, $3,000 and a lot of time involved is something that, it costs them nothing. I help them. So you want to get those brownie points for it. So here's what I did. I wrote sales copy that told why I was doing this for the kids, and I created urgency to get people to move fast because they needed it fast. I emailed it to my list, and I turned it off after about 5 minutes with a sold out sign because it went so fast, that 3,000. Now, here's the email analysis of what I did. Dear so-and-so there, that's how the shopping cart puts in the first name of the person. But here's the analysis. A former police officer friend of mine needs to raise $3,000. Okay, well, I put the police officer in there for credibility. See, because you get so many of these things all the time begging for stuff that you don't know if it's real or not. So a police officer friend of mine, and I'm Tom Ante on putting this out, so it's going to be hard to hoodwink me. So then I put the 501c3 in there. So to say, okay, this is extra legitimate. Look, this is a serious thing. This is a charity, and it's registered. And I put the website in so that they could go look at it to check it out to make sure it's legitimate. And then I even said the word legitimate again in the next paragraph. And then I tell what they do. They teach the game of chess to underprivileged kids. And I want the underprivileged children to pull on your heartstrings so that you help move you faster to help this out. And the charity's been on radio and TV all over the country. So again, if you go to the site, you can see this guy's been on I don't know if that's the site he has it on, but he's really been a media hound and has been on all these major networks. So that, again, makes it look more legitimate. Okay, now this is the same email. It's just, slide 2. So here's the deal. That's what I said to them. $3,000 gets you a day at my retreat center. So basically I'm saying if you give me all $3,000, I'm shutting this off, and you got a full day worth $20,000 with my professional video crew and all this stuff. And the day is totally customized to you. So I offered him that. Then I offered another deal. $1,000 gets you, remember, I only need 3 of these. $1,000 gets you 10 30-minute consults with me with whatever I'm qualified to do, worth $5,000. And then there's the things I could help them with. So this is still the same email. And here's the deal for number 4 in case people, just wanted to get in and contribute, but they couldn't turn in the big bucks. $100 gets you 1 call worth $500. All right. So now here's the urgency. I only need $3,000. So as soon as I hit the mark, which could be 5 minutes after I release the email, see, I'm really putting the urgency on, I'll disable the purchase links. To participate, visit, and then I gave them a website to go. Thanks, and I can't wait to help both you and the kids. So in other words, I was not begging. I'm offering my time to help them in return for them helping the kids. So I'm a catalyst, and I'm getting all kinds of brownie points for helping these kids. Okay, now this is the page that literally within 5 minutes I had to go over and put this sold out sign. Nothing fancy here. It's just, consultations are sold out, and that was the page that they ordered from. And here's the results. $3,600. I couldn't even get over there fast enough to turn it off. All right, so $3,000 and 6 $100 ones. So that was $3,600, and that's 6. That's 3 people with I forget what they got, 10 consultations, and 6 people got 1. So it actually turned out. I'll show you what my obligation was for that. But here's what it took me to set up that promotion: 15 minutes to write the sales copy, 10 minutes to do an email blast setup, 10 minutes to make a web page, 10 minutes to put the products in. It's technically, as it was a product, that money, in the Kickstart cart. Total 45 minutes for me to set up this whole thing to get that $3,000. Now, here's something you might say, well, hey, Tom, don't you owe these people a lot of work? Yes, I do. In fact, I owe 36 consultations totaling 18 hours of work. You're saying, wow, are you crazy? And a lot of people have said that long before you got on this webinar. Here's the deal. And this is something that I can sleep because I know this, but it's not my fault, and I always come through. Most people don't come through with all their consultations. That's just a fact of life. If I had to give all the consultations I owed people in this world, I would have to move to Mexico. But guess what? And I have done it myself. I've bought consultations and not taken them. Did I get mad at that person that sold them to me? No, it's not their fault. So with me, anybody that bought one of those, even to this day, can call me up and I will give it to them. But most people won't. How many people you think, put a guess in there, how many people out of the, what did we get, 3, 6, 9 people, how many people do you think called for their consultations? Put it in your question box there. I see 2, 3, 4, 27. 3, 6, 6, 3, 6, 1, 0. Well, here's the answer. One person, out of that $3,600 called for the consultation. I don't even know if it was one of the hundreds or the $1,000 people. Can't remember. So, like I said, people tell me all the time, you're crazy giving consultations. No, I'm not. And that's one reason. But here's why I like consultations as given away. You make a much closer relationship with the people. I mean, I can't tell you how many people bought from me, didn't buy from somebody else because I would just talk to them. I come from a small town. We treat people right. And apparently people like that. Isn't that amazing? To be treated nicely, not like a big diva. And Kelly says, yeah, they might have been just happy to give to the charity too. That's absolutely true. But the thing is I didn't beg, and that's the point I'm trying to make. So anyway, you build closer relationships with people. And I got to tell you, since I've been on the internet and giving consultations even before the internet, the people taking consultations are the more serious people, and they spend more money. Not because I upsell them and crank them into it. It's because I'm teaching them, and they can see what they need better because they had the consultation and they end up spending more money. Not always with me, but at least they're investing in themselves more. And it develops long-term customers. I mean, later on we'll see how long some of you have known me. You get plenty of referrals. I mean, on some consultations, on some little dinky product I sold, and I gave a consultation, somebody took the consultation, and they never attended my big, exclusive mentor program, but they go out and just tell the world about me because I treated them right. So you get way more referrals when you treat people right and do consultations. And I get better results for people. And the better results I get for them, the more they brag about me. See, so there's a lot of benefits in doing this. So people are just so lazy nowadays. Okay, now, but you don't have to use your time if you don't want to or if you just can't possibly fit it in. You can use products instead. Give them CDs, DVDs, books, home study courses, digital products, or a way that you don't even have to ship anything. Products and service from others in return for publicizing them to a new audience. I told you about that. I might call Colin and he's got some new products and say, hey Colin, I'll advertise you if you donate or participate in this charity thing. And t-shirts and mugs, you see that all the time on PBS, so you can do that instead. Now here's the thing. Don't make yourself look like a goober by keeping part of the money. I give them 100% of the money in these deals, and I very seldom ever take any kind of expenses, even though I paid the credit card fees on that $3,600, which, let's see, that was $100 or something probably, but I just gave them everything because that's the way I roll. If I'm going to do it, I don't want to be known as a little penny pincher. And you can legitimately deduct hard costs, but in most cases I don't, especially if they're small. I don't want to nickel and dime them. Keep your receipts, of course, so that if you ever get audited, you can prove what you did. And there's a lot of charity scams out there, so it's more important that everybody on this line get out and start doing some real good stuff because people are getting jaded because there's so many scammers out there. I mean, that's why I'm starting that television show, Seminar Scammers. And if I can't get the show to sell, I'm going to do a documentary. So, I'm going to take a stand against these people that hurt people. I mean, I know one guy that pledged money to a charity to make himself look good and then never gave it to them. So you don't want that to happen, and we want a lot of good stuff going on out there. Okay, so give them all the money. Now, all right, so how do you make a fortune by promoting fundraisers? I promise that's coming very, very soon. All right. Let's talk about something else first, silent auctions. Now, this is a company called fundraisingrides.org, and this is a great model to follow. If you go visit their site later, you'll see they're ready for fundraisers right off the get-go, especially silent auctions. And guess what? If somebody wins a silent auction for a balloon ride, that's what they sell, do you think they're going to go by themselves? Probably not. They're going to take 2 or 3 of their friends with video cameras, and now the company filled a whole balloon ride from giving just 1 seat away, see? And the charity made money. So what they do is they have a flyer already ready to go on their site that you can take for your silent auction, so you can prepare such a thing. And they seek out people. They're really looking for places that do silent auctions. And as soon as you see one advertised, you call them up right away and offer something. Right away, call them up and offer something, and now you're getting in front of all those people that come out for these charity auctions. You can even put up a whole site for your fundraising efforts, and at least you want to put a page on your website talking about your charity stuff. I have one on my school site, and I have one on I Am Not a Poodle, the one for my dog site, and all that. Okay, here's a picture. I just did a screen capture of their homepage to show you a little silent auction up down there on the left with their balloon pictures. It looks like they were giving 3 of them away. So they're doing triple. So if 3 people win 3 different ones, now they filled up 3 balloon rides by giving away 3 things. See? So very good site to review. This is fundraisingrides.com. Another thing, auction yourself off. I just mocked this up at Sotheby's, but let me show you what happened when I auctioned myself off. $54,000 in a few minutes from the stage. less than 5 minutes, I raised $54,000 for a children's charity in Las Vegas, and I hadn't even planned this in advance. So if you plan it in advance, you might be able to do better. But I'm sitting in the back of the room hearing about these starving homeless kids. Do you know that the average age of a homeless person in the United States is 9 years old? And homeless means they move at least once every 30 days, something like that. They got no food, and if they do have some food, these organizations have to teach them how to hide it so the older kids won't steal it from them. So I'm sitting there back there looking at my fat gut hanging over my belt, thinking, holy, I can't let this happen. I can't. So I said, okay, I'm going to do something about it. So I got on stage and I auctioned off myself consulting time, right? Consulting time, remember? And I don't know, trips to my retreat center, whatever it was, and raised $54,000 in a few minutes. Now, if you're ever in this situation, I'm going to show you how to really make a ton of money for the charity. And this is one of the tricks I used as an MC, why everybody wanted me as an MC for their auctions, because of the next trick I'm going to teach you. The next trick is once I got the bidding frenzy going, I'm the auctioneer, let's say, and I don't really know how to be an auctioneer, but I'm acting as the auctioneer, auctioning myself off. I get it to finally when we get down to the winner. And then I go back to all the other people. Let's say somebody bid $6,000 to come to my house for a day. So I go to the last person that bid $5,500, and I'd say, will you take this at $5,500 still? And the winner is saying, well, hey, I just won at $6,000. So I look back at the winner and I say, would you take it at $5,500? And he looks at me like, yeah, you big dummy. Maybe I don't want to come now. You're so stupid. I just bid $6,000. I said, who else? Who was the last bidder? And I keep going around, and I end up getting 5 or 6 of them at between $4,000 and $6,000, all in one shot. And I give it to all of them. But I wait until I get the bid to the max, and then I back off and go to the highest bidders. And then I'm pretty sure, I haven't done this for a while, but I mostly give them the same price. And I do 4, 5, 6 times that. So I think I pulled in $30,000 on that in 2 minutes on that one thing I was auctioning off. So that's the trick, how you do it at auctioning yourself off. Now, the other trick is make sure they love you first. Don't get up there and do this if they don't know you and you're just starting your speech. So I would do it halfway or more where I've already wowed them and then do it, because you don't want to do it and then get no bids. All right. Getting paid with publicity, very valuable to you and your business. See, one of the nice things of doing charity events, and we're still on indirect, and we're going to get to direct here shortly, making money, you get paid with publicity, and the bigger organizations that do this with you have their own publicity people. They already have publicity people on retainer, which you now are working with directly, and they're putting you on radio and TV and all this stuff as the main event at the charity function that's coming up. So you get your name massively all over the darn place by teaming up with their publicity people. This is really great. Also, you want to get mentions in their newsletter. You'll get that automatically, but you have to monitor these people because a lot of them aren't great marketers, so they might forget. So you get mentioned in their newsletter. You suggest, and these are some of the guidelines that I make sure people agree to before I agree to do the fundraiser. These are just some of them. My course later that you're going to get, which by the way is dirt cheap, will tell you more of it. So email blast to their database. You remind them of that. The website links back to you, I told you about. And the press mentions are so much easier when you're tied to a well-known organization. Doesn't mean you don't do these for little dinky organizations. As long as they're, they can get some press because they're doing good things, be there. And also plaques and oversized checks at their place of business are there permanently if you help them out. I'd even pay for it out of my own pocket after I raised a bunch of funds if they put it up in their business. Right? Here's an oversized check, the one when I did the birthday thing for the dog place. So I just went to Kinko's on my own, paid for it, so it didn't come out of their proceeds. There's a lot of graphics for publicity you can use on your website. Just look under fundraising and then click Google Images and see what you can find. Now, it doesn't mean you can use them just because you find them in Google Images. You're better off getting an account at like clipart.com or something so you can use them legitimately. You get videos. The children's charity gave me this really heart-touching video. I don't show it much anymore because the scammer guy that didn't give them the money uses it, so I don't want to be lumped in with that jerk. But I have it, and it's so heart-touching. These kids that are helping pass out the food, and it's just really a sweet thing. But that video can be used on your website then. More publicity. You get radio interviews out of it, TV interviews, print interviews, live coverage at the event. They're always going to ask the main event if they get somebody to show up with a TV camera or radio interview. They're going to get you live. You collaborate with the media on the whole event sometimes, because sometimes they're a sponsor. So they have you involved at their trade show booth and everything. And it's an implied endorsement from the group. And all of these things, by the way, just because I'm showing you them in the indirect section doesn't mean that they don't apply to the paid section too. It just happens to be this is the main way you get paid when it's indirect and you're not getting money. And you could get hired by someone who's in attendance. And that's happened so many times to people. The first time they were seen by a company was at a fundraiser. Okay, direct but indirect money. We're in that same section still. We're almost done with it. Make sure you show the videos and pictures of your fundraising efforts and talk about your charity and fundraising work whenever you speak. A little bit. You don't spend the whole thing and look like a jerk because you're self-serving, but I can't tell you. I mean, people have these big events that I speak at, they decided between one speaker and me because of my fundraising efforts. You know, so they actually joined my program and eventually going to give me $55,000 to be in my program because they said, we love what you're doing with those animals and all that. So they've told me that was exactly why they did it. Not that I was any good. They said they liked the dog. But that's the background when I speak on my desktop, on my computer. I don't use PowerPoint. This is my little foofy that was blind, incontinent poodle. So we made a line of diapers for her. Now she was taken in by some a-hole to be euthanized because she's blind and she lost control of her bladder. And she's the sweetest thing. And now we made her into a therapy dog for PTSD, you know, post-traumatic stress. And she's just a vibrant little baby. We saved her, all right? So that's the kind of thing that people like to see, that you're a real good person, not just cold-hearted people. Okay, so these are things you can put on your website and tie to PayPal. This is, you want to make it easy for people to donate or participate, let's say. I really should have changed that slide to say participate, because that's what they're doing, because you're going to give them something back if they participate. But those kind of PayPal and buttons make it easy for them to put whatever they want in. Now, if you have our shopping cart, you have to pick specific numbers and make products out of them, and that's how you would do it with the shop cart. And then there's a site called Chip In, which is one of the crowdfunding places that gives you what they call a widget. You put it right on there, bam, put your PayPal information, how much money you want, and people can just donate right there off a widget off of your website very safely. So those are ways to do it. Okay, so if you're ready for me to talk about how you make a fortune in money, please type into your box, bring it on, or something like that, because I'm ready to show you how to make the bucks. Yes, participate means they got something, right? That's right. Dan, I don't know about the tax deductibility question, and it went by so fast I couldn't read your whole thing. Okay. More on the Chip In widget. All you do is just go to chipin.com, Donna, and you can read all about it. I'm so ready. A big heck yeah. Smack me hard. Okay. Tom, you rock. Thank you. Show me the money. All right. So let's get into that a little bit. And don't forget, those of you that stick with me clear to the end, I'm going to give you 3 super duper G. All right. Let's do it. This is where you make a fortune and help lots of people. And I have done this exact method over 100 times. All right. So I'm not giving you any kind of book report here. I've lived, and that's why when this guy was giving me guff about it, saying that, well, you're probably no good if you do this, I'm thinking, oh, all right, maybe you're right. You know, I would never hire somebody that did that. Well, okay, no problem. So anyway, the next slide is going to give you the big money slide. This is the method that we're talking about to get money. It's called partnering. What you do is you pre-package a seminar. What that means is you have a certain topic or a selection of topics, and you present it to a group that wants to raise funds. And they're everywhere. I'll tell you how to recruit them a little bit. So that's the basic idea of this, is you are going to go to people that like to raise money for good causes and offer yourself as a fundraising seminar where they are going to sell tickets to the people, their members, who already love them or they wouldn't be members, and you're going to split the money with the group. You're going to split the money, and you're going to give them 10% of your product sales. And if they question that, which they won't because most of these people are not savvy marketers, you're just going to say, well, you know, I'm responsible for fulfillment and packaging if you do CDs or books and customer service, so your group can just walk away with your money and not worry about it. So nobody in all the times I've done this, over 100 times, nobody has ever complained about that. They were thrilled I was giving them 10% of the product sales. Okay, now you've got to teach them how to market it to their members, because remember, they weren't savvy in the first place, or they'd have thought of this before you ever came along. So you must monitor this and teach them how to market. And in my product later, I got guidelines and everything they have to do, and you know, when and how and all that. But you have to watch them and give them enough time to sell the tickets. That's the critical thing, and you want to monitor their progress. You don't want to wait till the day before and say, well, how many tickets did you sell? So you got to monitor them all the way along. Actually, the most work you do is before you ever get on the stage, to tell you the truth. You're monitoring and collecting monies, and, you know, all that. So what you're going to do is split the admission fees. But in addition to that, you know, in all I've been speaking, I get tons of people off the web that just sign up for my stuff that never saw me speak. But I will tell you that when you speak and you get the database of people that were there in the audience and you did a good job, that is a much better quality subscriber to your stuff. So you want to do a drawing and build your database every time you speak. And that's what I do. Every time I speak, I do a drawing and give something away, and then you're going to sell them stuff in the future. And you know what? The church is not even going to ask, like, you know, if the church was a real sophisticated affiliate, they would say, well, we want the future, you know, percentages and all that. They don't care. They want a clean deal. All the money they can make that day goes to them, and then I get the database and any future sales and so forth, and the sales for that day less 10%. And we split the admission fees. So I have done this, like I said, so many times it makes your head spin, and everybody loves it. And I'll tell you why after we tell you the types of groups. Well, I particularly, although I haven't done the bulk of mine in churches, I have done quite a few in churches. I'll tell you why I like churches. Because they have a place to have the event with no fees involved. It's not like renting a hotel room and that money comes off the top. Any expenses, hard expenses, come off the gross before you split the money. So churches already have a place to have them. The other reason I like churches is because they got audio-visual stuff. All churches have good audio-visual stuff. Karen says, so this is basically putting on a public seminar. It is, Karen, except for the fact that to promote a public seminar is usually extremely expensive and risky. But with this, they're promoting to their members and teaching their members how to promote it to other people that aren't members. So you don't have any risk in the ticket sales. You're not doing radio and TV and direct mail and all that. They're emailing and broadcasting and putting in their newsletter to their own members who already love them. Schools are great for this. No reason you couldn't do this at schools. Okay, but churches I like because of no rental fees for anything. And so Steve says, what a great way to build a series of no-risk seminars. That's right, Steve. I've been preaching this, and this is how I start all speakers that come to me to learn professional speaking. Because one of the great benefits of this is that this market is not tapped. It's not overcrowded like the regular speaking market. It's an untapped market of people that you could do really great things for. Fantastic idea for learning speaking. Yes, that's right, Al, because this is not just for experienced speakers. Now, I wouldn't want you to be an inexperienced speaker and they sell 500 tickets and you get up there and bomb. I would rather you start in a church or a library with 10 or 15 people that paid $5 or $10 to get your feet wet, because I don't want you to go up there and bomb. You can start small and work your way up. Okay, so I like churches, but the types of groups, any group that wants to raise funds. It could be Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, any club that you can possibly think of. Like I mentioned the archery club, but it could be the martial arts club. It could be the the garden club, the lady across the street's in the garden club. All of these places want to raise funds. Bob says perfect and well-established market. I didn't quite catch that, Bob, what you meant. No wonder they hand you half the money and love you. This is very smart, Steve. Yeah, because it's money that they would have never had. It's sometimes 100 times what they could have raised on their own with a bake sale or whatever they do. So all kinds of groups good for it. Now, here's an extra tip. Many times you can get if it's not a church, let's say, many times you can get the audiovisual and the venue donated from really, really great places. Here's where you go. You go to the gas company, the water company, the electric company. Well, water company not so much. Usually they're kind of funky neighborhoods and not so good. But gas company and electric company are usually in gorgeous office buildings. And the next place would be a hospital. All of these places let their meeting rooms be used for good quality events that now they're usually, they won't let you rent them for for-profit events. But a fundraiser is not considered a for-profit event, even though there's money changing hands. If you have an established group that they approve, you can many times get a gas company, electric company, gorgeous. Somebody just chimed in, Donna said, and libraries too. She said, although they charge in my city. Libraries, I wouldn't mind paying a library because they're really hard up since all the internet stuff. But the thing is most of them don't have nearly the nice of meeting room as a gas company, electric company, or a hospital. They have gorgeous theaters with audio-visual and technicians to run it that they'll probably donate to you also. So that's your extra tip for finding venues when it's not a church. Okay, banks. Let's see, who said that? Saul? Saul just said banks. And then Mike says, do you make money? Is that 10% commission? No, I split the admission fees. Actually, here's the thing I'll just throw in right now, because when I do these, we start out at $25.75 my way. Now, I've done so many of these, people are willing to agree to that. But I give them an incentive that if they sell so many tickets, then they go 50-50. And that's one of the incentives I promised you, that to get them to work harder to sell the tickets. So it's $25.75 and then 50-50 if they sell a certain amount of tickets. And I keep the bar low enough so they always do. And I can tell you, in 100 of these I've done, I've never taken the 75, even if they were a couple people short. So, but I want that incentive in place there. Okay. Okay, now, why would they participate? Well, the big reasons are it's reduced risks. They could never afford to pay a guy like me to come in, or even people that aren't nearly as experienced as me. When I break people in at $2,500, that's still too risky for the group. So it's reduced risk. Of course they want to make money, and most groups are there to service their members. So this is where the win-win-win is. I make money, their group makes money, and their members and their guests get a great seminar. See? Way better than the normal model of high risk, and if it doesn't, they don't get enough tickets sold, they lose money, and now everybody's upset. Alan, we'll get to the costs of the tickets here pretty soon. Okay, Mike says this is off the ticket sales only, 50-50 split, and 10% of the product sales I give them. Now, this is what I do. You can do whatever you want, but I'm just saying that's perfectly acceptable. Okay. Yes, I'll be talking about topics, Sal. Okay, now why would you participate? Well, if you keep it local to start, it's low risk for you. You don't have to get on an airplane or get a hotel room or any of that, or ship products if you keep it local. Now, I do them anywhere now, but we'll get into why I can afford to do that later. But it's low risk to you. You're going to make money if you do this properly. The amount is going to vary, but you're going to make money. At the very least, you're going to get great publicity for helping out a group, and you're going to build your database for back-end sales. So it's a perfect thing for speakers to do. Okay, agreements and paperwork. Well, you need to get commitment from them. So they need to know up in advance all the things they're expected to do. But I can tell you, with this type of deal, you need to keep it simple, because if you give them a 30-page agreement, I mean, these people are not savvy marketers, and you're going to freak them out. So agreements are very, very simple. I keep mine 1 or 2 pages at the most, and very simple language, so it's everybody's happy. But you do need to monitor them closely throughout, that's for sure, and you need to plan in advance. For instance, if I was doing one in a church, here's some things I require of them. They put it in their church program at least 3 weeks in advance, preferably 4. At least 3 sermons in advance. They spend at least 2 minutes talking about it. They get a phone committee together, a phone tree to call their members. They and 4 or 5, 6 other things that I have them do. See, so that needs time to put this into play. That's why you got to plan them at least a month in advance. Okay, and then you need to teach them what to do, because again, they're not savvy marketers. So all of the stuff on what to teach them is in the course that you're going to get later. Okay, and if possible, you need to control the money. Now, some people are going to give them checks directly, and but you need to control the money, put a shopping cart on, put it on your website, collect the money, and then keep them apprised so they have a full accounting, and then you divvy it up, because they'll be given some money with checks and so forth, and then you owe them so much out of the ticket sale, so that's a little accounting stuff you figure out later, but it's better if you control it. I just don't trust volunteers to be all that accurate and keep track of things good. So the money I keep track of whenever possible. Okay. Now, this can make you and the organization an enormous amount of money. Plus, their members get really great value. That's what I'm all about, is giving great value. Okay. Now, the length and time of the event. I suggest about 3 hours. And I'll tell you why. Because if it's too short, you won't get as much live participation, so it won't look as good, and you won't have as many people there to buy products. So, if you just did a keynote speech, well, stop and think about it. Would you hurry home from work, get the kids fed, shower, do your hair, hustle across town, and then it's a 40-minute keynote or a 45-minute keynote? You probably say, you know what, I'm glad I donated, but I don't have time to do that. So you want it to seem like a more substantial event, so that 3 hours is about right. But this is not 3 hours of speaking, okay? Because 3 hours event means that people come in, they have some light refreshments, they sit down, you get introduced. You have a break in the middle for more refreshments. It can be workshop-y if you want. It doesn't have to be a keynote or seminar. It could be a workshop where you have them breaking up into groups and you're facilitating. There's no laws against any of this. Whatever they'll sign up for and do. So you don't have to think you're going to speak for 3 hours. Now, the time of day will depend on your market, but if it's going to be if it's a weekday, they got to be able to get home from work and regroup. Now, if you had a market that doesn't work, then you could have it during the day, or you can have weekends. If it's in a church, you don't want to have it on Sunday for most churches, and Saturdays on, I think, Catholic churches. You probably wouldn't want to have it on Saturday. I'm not Catholic, but I think I see the parking lot full on Saturday. So that's all stuff you'll figure out, and weekends, like I said, can be good. Now, topics. Again, it's going to vary with your market, but here's the tip, and one of the beauties of this particular thing. You can have topics in the fundraising market that would never in a million years sell in the corporate market. And the more, I usually want people to do niche stuff. I mean, that's what I live my whole life with on the internet, is niche things. But in this case, it's got to be a broad enough topic to get maximum participation. So instead of doing how to have the greatest marriage, I might say how to have the greatest relationship, whether you're married or not. See, because I don't want to cut off the single people that are dating. When you're selling tickets, you want the most people to be involved. Now, I'm not opposed to you doing something like for kids, because a lot of people have kids, so you could do topics like how to keep your kids safe on the internet. All kinds of how to, in church markets you get a lot of spiritual topics like how to live with gratitude. Now, the thing is a hardcore guy like me is probably not going to show up for that. I might buy the ticket, but I'm probably not going to show up. So you really have to get the feel for the what you're capable of and the market. So, but just keep in mind, all of you out there that have heard me talk about soft topics and there's no way on earth you're going to sell them to the corporate market, now you got a place to sell them if you know how to do this. Okay. Now, let me give you a sample scenario, and I'm known to not hype things. I'm going to try to be extremely conservative here. So let's say the group sells only 100 tickets. A whole month goes by. Marianne says, Tommy, you're not hardcore. Oh, Jean actually said that. The group sells only 100 tickets at, let's say, $20. And somebody asked a question earlier, I think it was Alan, about the price. Well, I want maximum participation for you when you're starting out and don't have a big reputation. So $20 is an amount that most people can afford to pay without going in the hole or not feeding the kids. So keep the price low. Go for volume. So let's say they sell 100 tickets at 20 bucks. There's 2,000 bucks at the door. And let's say you create a CD set that sells for $39.95, and out of 100 people, you can sell 10 of them. And if you're saying to yourself, well, gee, I don't have any products, in 1 hour, I could teach anybody on this line how to create audio products and all kinds of products. This is the easiest time in the world to create products. So you can do that easily. So that's another $399.50. Now, the organization gets the 1,000 that you split at the door plus $39.50. So they get 1,000, $39.50, and you get 1,000 plus $359.55, which is $399.50 minus 10% that they got. So you make $1359.55, more than they make. And every time I do this, I make more than they do. But not once in 100 times has anybody ever complained that I know of. They knew in advance what the deal was, and I've come out of these fundraisers on small groups with $35,000 because I have a very expensive mentor program to sell. And they made 13, 14, 15, and they're just thrilled to death about it, and nobody said a word that I left with $35,000. Okay, so now let's ramp it up a little bit. Let's say you get good at these, and I can tell you what you're seeing here can easily be done if you're a decent, good quality speaker. Don't have to be great, but you got to be able to handle the crowd. And let's say they sell 500 tickets with a reasonable size organization that's gung-ho could sell easily 500 tickets. At 20 bucks a head, that's $10,000 at the door. You split it. And then your same CD set, let's say you could sell 100 people out of the 500, your CD set, that's $39.95, almost $4,000 more. So they get $53.99.50, and you get $85.95.50. Plus, don't forget, you will do a drawing and build your database on all of these for back-end sales that'll turn into more dollars because these people have seen you already. So if you think that if this is doable, please say, heck yeah, it's doable in your chat box. Let me know if anybody's still home out there. Heck yeah. Dude, fall on the floor easy by very doable. And let's see, sounds great. Yes, but I wish I had a bigger cities than Montana. That's all right, Alan. I'm going to show you a slide here in a minute on how you can do much more expensive ones. Sounds great. Charlene, love it. Fred in Florida. Carolyn, who books all of this for you, Tom? Well, remember, Carolyn, this was 100 times I did this over the last 21 years. So that was 5 a year or so if you average it out. So it's no big production. It wasn't all 100 in 1 year. No big deal. Awesome. Tom from Beth. Northwest Ohio, the prices would be a lot less. They don't like to spend money. That's all right, Bradley. if it was $10, it's still, you'd make $1,000 for a couple hours locally. And then, like I said, I'm going to show you that you can get more money heading out of town here. Okay, let's go on. All right, now the better known you get, the more money you can make for everybody. So currently, my deal is my minimum ticket price is now $220. That's early bird, and $297 at the door. And then I sell a mentoring program that's $79.95, and it's discounted at events to $49.95. And then that's an entry fee, and the people involved in my program pay me 25% of their profits out of their commission, a commission up to a cap of $50,000. A lot of you know that's what my mentor program is. So it's not $55,000 up front, it's $5,000 up front if you've been to an event. It's $8,000 if you haven't, and then you give me a commission over time out of your profits. So if you don't make money, I don't make money, so I stick with you. So a lot of these events, I'm looking at $1 million day if it's a big enough crowd. All right, so you see how now I would still do a $20 ticket if I knew the group could put 500 to 1,000 people in the room. So Alan, with your expertise and knowledge and your reputation, it's likely you could get more than $20 for a ticket and throw a much more unique seminar. Alan has the martial arts black belt and communication experts, so you could probably get more money and afford to travel. See, on this one, I can afford to travel because with me coming, they're definitely going to sell the tickets. As long as my expenses are paid, I know I'll make the money on the back end. So that's what you can do if you've got some clout. Okay. All right. Let's do another poll here. Let's see what's going on now. So let's see. Pick another poll here. I'm going to launch it, and you can click on it. If you can't click on it, try clicking first. If you can't, then your question box under your screen will pop up, and then you can just put your answer in there. Could you now structure a profitable fundraiser where both you and the group make money? Yes, no, or maybe if the fundraising fairy smacked me on the butt. So put your answers in. If you try to click on the poll first, if you can't click on it, then you would put your answer in a question box below. And keep in mind, I've got 3 super techniques for you, and then I'm going to stay on afterwards to answer questions. I know there's been tons of questions coming in. Colin's doing his best over there to keep up with them, but I'm going to stay on after we're done for questions, probably for another half hour after done. So click on the poll first if you can. If you can't, put your answer in the question box below. And we'll leave it open for about 10 more seconds. All right. 9, 8, 7. And we got a lot of the vote in. Keep voting. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, so we're going to close the poll, and then we're going to see what happened. Look at that. 81, 9. It's between yes, 81, and maybe if the fundraising fairy smacked me on the butt, which I'll be glad to help you with, 96% to 4%. So we did a complete flip-flop. How do you like that? If you think that's I did my duty, say, Tom, you did your duty. All right, awesome, good. Nobody's saying I did my duty. All right, duty done. Good job, Kelly. You, Karen, you rock, Tom. You have opened my eyes, Bradley. I'm thrilled about that. Take advantage of. A lot of the hotshot speakers think they're too good to do this. Well done, Laura. Thank you for sharing. I'm not done yet. I've got a lot of tips left to go. Jim says, you're going to sell me again, aren't you? Yeah, I think you got that right, Jim, so might as well get your credit card out because let's go back over here, and we'll hide the poll results. And so, have I delivered on my promise? If you think I have delivered, the promise you made was if I delivered on my promise, you would take the time to listen to my offer. So if you think I have, type brilliant or ka-ching or whatever you want in your box there, and I'm going to tell you about them. I said, Nanette, most of you know, even though I'm making the offer, and frequently I teach more than I make an offer. So it is really worth hanging in here. Plus I have the 3 genius techniques that I'm going to tell you about in a minute. So thank you very much. Bada boom. You always rock. Thank you. Well done, Laura. Later explain. Okay, so we'll get to the questions later. Okay, so here's my offer. Now, that's what I just said. You've got the Genius Techniques coming, and I'm going to continue to teach all throughout the offer. So keep your pencils handy for that. Okay, I've got a Speaking at Fundraisers online course. And once you know the method and all the little details that after 100 times doing this that I know, you'll be speaking at fundraisers, you'll be making money for the group, you'll give great value to the participants and earn money for yourself. And this could happen in as little as 30 days. And the only reason it's 30 days is because you need time for them to promote it and sell tickets. That's the only reason, because my course, I really chunked it down where it's not going to bury you with tons of information you got to slog through. Most of my stuff is like that, but this one I really bare bones it to exactly the techniques, the checklists, the guidelines, all of that. And as far as I know, it's the only information on this very specific topic anywhere available by someone who has done it over 100 times. Now, warning, speaking at fundraisers will not make you a fortune if you stink as a speaker. It'll be counterproductive. So I'm going to help you with that later. As part of the course, I've got some super bonuses that will help you become a great speaker. But so don't worry about that. Now, in this course, you're going to learn how to make a fortune speaking at fundraisers, obviously. You're going to learn the concept of non-dues revenue. You need to write that down whether you buy or not, but no matter who you learn this from, you got to learn something about non-dues revenue, because that term is really critical to a lot of the groups that you'll approach, and it's money that comes in that's not just from their membership fees. So you have to understand that concept and talk their language, and I teach you that. You learn how to use incentives to get the group working hard to promote you. I told you one of them there with they have to sell so many and it changes the percentage. And you have to really learn how to keep from losing all your profits if you're in a hotel because of meeting room screw-ups. And so I cover that, a lot of the things that could eat up all your money if you don't know them. All right, you're also going to get 9 ways to maximize your income when you're doing these. You're going to get why you should probably hide your products. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but at this type of event, I hide my products, and you'll learn why in the course. This doesn't mean I'm trying to sneak up on them or trick them. It just means that I don't want them to appear too commercial with these people until they get to know me and know that I'm in their best interest. You're going to learn the #1 most critical thing you can do on stage to sell without selling. And I've been the master at this for years and years, where I make a lot of money where I'm not even allowed to sell because of the way I do it, and never get any complaints for it. Okay, you're going to learn the absolute most critical thing you can add to your product mix to skyrocket your sales. You're going to learn that in this course. And you're going to get 11 tips for dealing with hotels and other venues so those crazy things don't happen that could cost you a fortune and eat up all the money from the fundraiser, like, boom, watch, I'm going to snap my fingers, boom, like that. Okay, now, you're also going to learn how to teach the organization to promote you. I've got a whole thing of marketing tips that you can just copy under your name and give it to the group, and then you monitor it to make sure they're doing them, at least as many of them as possible. You're going to learn the proper guidelines the group must agree to before you schedule the event. I told you a few of them, but there's a whole bunch of them that I want them to know ahead of time, so they are aware of what they're getting into. And, of course, like all my stuff, you're going to get a whole bunch more. Now, I promised you I teach in the middle of the offer, so here's an example of it. I did this for years. I offer a referral fee to people who recommend me for speaking engagements and fundraisers. You got bird dogs out there. If they like you and they can make money off of referring you, I mean, people out there have connections to other groups that you don't even know about. So you let all your friends and colleagues know that you pay a referral fee. And when I used to do paid speaking, which I do all public seminars now, I paid 20% if it was a done deal. In other words, somebody called me and said, Joe said to hire you, send us your contract, 20% for that. and 10% if it was a lead that resulted in a speaking engagement that I had to really work to get. So that's what I happen to do, but you can do whatever you want. But that's a bonus tip on how to do it. Now, here's a really big tip with regard to that tip. You got to be careful with this tip that you're not putting the people in a bad situation, because a lot of people are not allowed to take any kind of kickbacks or referrals. Because let's say somebody worked in a company, they referred you, and the company found out that they got a commission on it, they might get fired. So you always want to ask, are you allowed to take a referral fee? If they say no, don't just say, well, thanks anyway, and leave. Just say, well, I would be willing to donate that commission to your favorite charity or your company's charity. So now they can do it because the money is going to their company's charity or their charity and not to them. So that's a way to get around it. So that bonus has made me a lot of money over the years. Okay. Now, don't forget the biggest thing. You will have total control over how often you speak and how much money you make, because there's an unlimited number of groups who need to raise funds. And you'll never, ever be forced to cross your finger that a speaking engagement is going to come to you from the corporate market, because that's a tough place to be in. Now, this lady did what I told her. Tom, at my first free speaking engagement, I netted over $1,000. I just copied everything you told me to do, and I'm already making money like seasoned speakers. That's Ceylon Beaumont. Now, remember, you will be able to use this fundraising blueprint that you get off of me tonight over and over and over again. It's kind of like rinse and repeat, with the potential to literally earn millions of dollars, I have, for yourself and the organizations you partner with, so you will be in total control. So what's included in it? Well, I'll tell you. You get the same file immediately downloaded where you can listen to it tonight. It's an hour long with me telling you all kinds of details. You'll get a sample seminar flyer, which you can just make one up of your own off of Fiverr.com, that place you can get stuff real cheap, Fiverr.com. And then this flyer, by the way, this flyer is not the kind of flyer that to promote you to the group. It's for the group to duplicate and use to promote the event. So remember I said you got to make it easy on them. So I'm giving you all the tools to make it easy on you so that you can make it easy on them, and that they'll say yes, and they'll do a better job because it was easy. You'll get a sample order form for the back of them sales that has made me millions, and that's a 3-part carbonless. You'll get the front part, and then you just have it printed up as a 3-part. You'll get my guidelines for bigger ticket seminars. They're a little bit different from the cheaper seminars. And you'll get special guidelines for churches and the marketing plan for the group. So it tells everything that they need to do to make this a success. It's what they're supposed to do. And, of course, you follow up and check. There's the audio in MP3. There's the flyer, order form, carbonless order form. There's guidelines for the camp. That's for bigger tickets. Guidelines for the churches, marketing plan to be followed by the groups. Those are the things I told you. And here's something I didn't tell you about. This is when you're doing a drawing to get your database, here's the tip. Remember I told you I'm throwing in tips all the time. When you're doing the database, if you're doing it a group that's not a business group, they're not going to have business cards. So you're going to do a business card drawing and no business cards. So you're going to get toilet paper and napkins and everything else in there. So I've given you a 4-up form that you can print out. It's a PDF file that you can just put your name at the top of it and then cut it, duplicate it, and cut it into 4 pieces, and you would give that out to do your drawings. And we even put a place for text on it, and it says, though, you don't have to do the mobile number because we're not going to call you. It's only if you want text messages. So it's a beautiful thing that you can use to give out at places that wouldn't have business cards. You're going to get my Wake 'em Up book. For those of you that don't know about this book, it's a classic book. It's really, really powerful. Some colleges use it in their curriculum. This teaches you how to be great on stage, so especially if you're starting out. And if you're a seasoned speaker, I guarantee you don't know everything in this book. And Bob says, yes, excellent book. Now, This is Patricia Fripp, the first woman president of the National Speakers Association. This is what she said about this book. This book gives you advanced presentation skills and humor that would otherwise take you years to learn. It's an absolute must-read for anyone who wants to be a fantastic presenter, and she sure is one. In fact, she's been to my internet training 8 times, and she always brings a young person with her to implement. But, well, phenomenal lady, but that's what she said about this book. This is a guy, Roger Dow, Vice President, General Sales Manager, Marriott Lodging, so basically Marriott. In my 25 years with Marriott, I have seen countless presentations from all types of potential vendors, executives, and trainers. If these people had used Tom's book as their guide, their presentations would undoubtedly have made a bigger impact on me. Roger Dow from Marriott. Bonus number 3. Just like almost all of my webinars, you're not alone, because you're going to have questions. So you have unlimited email questions to me when you get this course, and if I'm not on a plane or something or on a consultation, I'm all over email. I never cry about spam. I mean, I got 40,000 emails in my inbox, and that's not kidding. So you have unlimited email consultation for your questions when you're putting these things together. Now, the first 30 from this webinar tonight actually get a one-on-one consultation on this topic or any topic I'm qualified to speak on. That's a $500 value. So get your wallets out, because it's coming here, folks, and it's going to be dirt cheap for you. As little as $39 to start. So you're crazy if you don't get this. Okay. What can we talk about in the consultations? Fundraising, how to use humor, speech construction, product creation, anything internet related that I'm qualified for, which is most things, getting speaking engagements in the first place, and anything business related that I'm qualified to talk about. You can do that on your consultations. This is a testimonial I just got 2 weeks ago. The most gratifying moment in my life was when I was on a coaching call with Tom Antion. That 1 hour I spent on the phone with Tom Antion was better than a lot of the platinum programs. And these platinum programs go anywhere from $10,000 to $50,000 that he was in, that I have been in this industry. Clint Arthur, author, What They Teach You at Wharton Business School. It's not what they don't teach, it's what they teach you. Thank you, Clint, for that if you're on tonight. Now, I don't care if your skill level, like I said, start small in little libraries, and you can start making money right away while you're practicing your way up to the big time. So here's the deal, folks. If you're ready to order now, I got 2 simple deals, and they're always very fair. Everybody knows I've got fair deals. Deal 1, the entire course retails with all instant access and all the bonuses for $127. You get it for only $97 on this webinar. Plus, the first 30 get the consult with me if you order before the webinar is over. And the link is below, greatinternetmarketing.com/fundraiser deal. greatinternetmarketing.com/fundraiser deal. Go ahead over there and order right now. And I'm going to try to put that in your chat box if I can, and send it there, everybody. Let's see if I did it. Did it go out? Yeah. So you should, if you're on a system that has a live chat box there, it's possible that you'll have a link right there that you can just click on and go over to the site. So it's only $97, folks, and I mean you'll make that in your first one for sure. You know, I can't guarantee that, but that's a pretty small amount. If they sell, 5 tickets or 10 tickets, you made your money back for the whole course, and they'll sell a lot more than that. So that's the deal with all the bonuses. That's deal 1, $97. Now, if you're so strapped that you can't do $97, I got another deal for you. And let me get back over here to this screen. Remember, I'm going to stay on for questions afterwards, and I got 3 super techniques for you coming up. All right, deal 2. You get the entire course and instant access and all the bonuses for only 3 easy payments of $39. That's a total of $117 if you make all 3 payments. And if you're still in the first 30, you still get the consultation. So go right now to greatinternetmarketing.com/fundraiser deal. And let me pull something over to show you what you're going to see when you go there. Can they see that, Colin? Okay, deal 1 is the $97 one where you can just click on that link. Deal 2 is the $39 one. Now, if you click on either one of these links, which you should be doing right now, you're going to see I have what is called an upsell, or I have a discounted extra deal for you that you don't have to buy, but it's a pretty darn good deal. It's called How to Earn Super Large Passive Incomes Using Residual Affiliate Programs. Now, this is normally this is a transcript, so you'll download this immediately, and you'll be reading it and working on it right away. It's $10 off if you get it with the main course. Now, this is the course that allows me to legitimately say I couldn't stop the money coming into my checking account if I tried. I couldn't stop it. And this teaches you about how you refer different services to people and you get paid an affiliate commission. However, this specific transcript is about commissions that keep coming over and over and over and over and over again. If you want to add that to your order, it's only $19.95 more. You would come down here and you would put 1 in this box and click down here, recalculate. And it's going to make it $116.95 if you did the $97 deal. I can tell you, folks, this deal has made me I think the latest figures was $2.11 million from just one of these residual affiliate programs. And I don't know why I don't hear it, because the ka-chings are coming in like crazy right now. The orders are just flying in here, and I don't hear my ka-ching, so that's a shame. But they're coming in. People are ordering like crazy. So this is how you do it. Yeah, and oh, by the way, my mentees, I forgot, I should have mentioned this earlier. Mentees get this for free, so don't order if you're a mentee. You get this anyway. Any of the mentees in my program that are interested in professional speaking, I help them, even though it's an internet marketing program. So this particular course, not the video system, but this one is included in your deal. So don't buy it, and if you did buy it, don't worry. We'll refund you when we get the orders squared away. Okay, so anyway, this is what you'd see here, and it came from this page where you'll click through, which is greatinternetmarketing.com/fundraiser deal. Okay, so now let me get back to some other stuff here. I want to keep teaching you stuff. Okay, one thing is this has a 60-day money-back guarantee. To see the numbers down below, the 757-431-1366, that's answered live by my staff 9 to 5 Eastern, Monday through Friday. So I got to tell you, folks, I'm a stickler for customer service, and I'm not going to disappear on you and put you in voicemail hell. It's possible you get a voicemail around here sometime, but most of the time not. And I even give customers my cell phone number if they have any trouble, because sometimes I'm on the road and all the employees are working out of a different building or something. So I never can claim we're perfect, but I can tell you that we take care of people. And I'll tell you what, just so the people new on here can get a little feel for how long I've been around, is if you've tell me how long you've been doing business with me or known me. Type it in your chat box there, and let's see what we got here. I've seen a lot of names that I've seen for. Here's one, 14 years with Stephen, 6 years, Marianne Douglas. Oh, here's the ka-chings coming. Good. I thought we lost them. Let's see, 6 years for Marianne. Since 2096, Diane. Oh, I'm thrilled you're believing me this long, Diane. Yeah, the ka-chings are really rolling now. I'm sorry you can't hear them, but they're, well, maybe you can if you can hear them. It depends on the system you're listening. 7 years, Laura. Oh, it's going fast now. 10 years, 15 years from Dan. Dan, great to see you around, bud. 9 products and 15 times seeing you speak at the National Speakers Association. 11 other events in 14 years. That's from Stephen. Stephen, thanks so much for believing in me. And I guess I don't say the same thing every time, or you wouldn't come back. There's Mango Man, Wayne. I've known him for 18 years. So folks, I've been around for a while. I'm not going anywhere, and it always is heart-rendering when I see this. And some people are asking if they're in the top 30. I'll tell you what, they are flying through. I think like that other deal, Colin, we're going to have to make it the top, oh, geez, it looks like the top 50, because they're just, I mean, the ka-chings are going crazy here. As I said, I don't know if you can hear them right now or not, but I can hear them on my headset. Let's see, Laura just signed up for your mentor program, so I look forward to working with you for a long time. Laura, it's my pleasure, and I will never let you down. Tom, where is the order page? Well, it's greatinternetmarketing.com/fundraiser deal. greatinternetmarketing.com/fundraiser deal. It should be on most of these pages. Now, what's the catch? There's always a catch on things, right? Well, most people hide the catch. I don't hide the catch. I tell you right up front what the catch is. Nanette says, I'm excited to work with you, and it comes at such an excellent time. And Nanette, I'm thrilled that I can be of service. Connie saying, how do you know? I can see the orders coming in. I can't count them all, but I just upped it to the top 50, Connie, so that should cover it for at least a while anyway, because they're just pouring in. Okay, and if you can hear the ka-chings out there, you see that, but some of you can't. It's in my headset. Okay, now, here's the catch. Those of you in the first 30 that get the consults, here's the deal. I am giving you a 60-day money-back guarantee on a digital product that you could just steal from me if you felt like it. Well, I don't believe I deal with people like that, and if you do it, then it's bad karma on you. I'm going to still sleep at night. But what I do as a catch here is that if you check the thing out for 60 days, all you want, and if you don't want it, give it back, and I'll give you your money back. But if you take advantage of your consultation and eat up my personal time, that's where I'm saying that you're agreeing that it's a good product and you're not going to get a refund. So that's all I ask of you. I give you 60 days, and Nanette says that's totally fair. I agree fair. I agree that's perfectly fair from Bob. And then those of you making payments, you get your consult after you've made all the payments, and that's the same deal. So if you think that's fair, type that's fair into your chat box. Unless you're busy ordering, then forget that and just go order at greatinternetmarketing.com/fundraiser deal. Keep in mind, I'm going to stay on for questions after we get done here. I still have 3. Everybody's saying that's fair. That's the way I roll. Your time is worth more than 10 times the cost of this program. Bob, thank you very much for appreciating that, because I try to make myself available to people. Yes, that's fair, says Leon. Very fair, super fair. Great. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. Now, who's this for? Well, absolutely if you're a public speaker, but let's say you're not a public speaker or a professional speaker. What if you're a consultant? See, the whole thing boils down to whether you have expertise or not that you could impart. Now, if you're a consultant that's never stood up in front of a crowd, well, then I want you to buy this and dig into my Wake 'em Up book and do a little practicing first so that you can, somebody's talking about, Stephen says, Tom, keep going after the blank people, I won't read the name, and other scumbags in the seminar business. I will, Stephen. Those of you that want to watch my sizzle reel for my show, it's at seminarscammers.com, seminarscammers.com. It says, between us, I would like to upgrade to pay the entire amount now if possible. Okay, Nanette, any differences? If you've made the smaller order, that's cool. We'll fix it afterwards. So you're good. Just start studying your course, and when the dust settles, we'll fix it for you. But I'm glad you want to do that to get me talking to you faster. Okay, seminarscammers.com. For Cynthia asked what's the seminarscammers.com. Okay, but if you're a consultant, you've got expertise that people would pay you for. You do these fundraisers and probably get a lot of clients out of it. If you're an author, you need to be speaking, number one, and there's no better way to get well known as to do fundraisers and have people talking about how wonderful and benevolent you are, and they're going to talk about your book. Coaches, Kelly, if you're still out there, this is perfect for you. You could do this on the side. You're a great speaker already, and add to your coaching business. Okay, and she says, I'm here. She winks at me. Small business owners. If you own a small business, you have expertise on small business and the nature of your business. So I can absolutely help you come up with a topic that would sell in this market, because you can get away with all kinds of stuff. And one interesting thing, I know a lot of people that are experts in stuff, and then all of a sudden they get a bug up their butt that they want to talk about spirituality and they want to talk about wealth and prosperity, and that wasn't what they got rich on. And they try to take it to the same market where they got rich. Like, I know this one guy is an expert in, I don't know, heavy equipment or something, made a fortune in that field, but now he's want to talk about spirituality to the same people he's selling heavy equipment to. Well, that is not going to fly. But guess what? It would fly when he takes it out of the heavy equipment market into the fundraising market. So small business owners, you can do this. And any professional, whether you're an artist, accountant, attorney, a doctor, whatever you do, this will work for you in a big, big way if you get this course structured properly. And I will tell everybody on here, even though anybody, the first couple might be hard unless you have a big reputation, because a lot of these people, and it's not your fault that it's hard. It's because the market is not savvy, is not a savvy marketing market. So it's going to be hard for them to believe that they could make thousands of dollars in an evening seminar. They're used to making their $50 on their bake sales. So once you land the first couple, then I teach you in the course how to really ramp it up so you get a lot of credibility quick on your website, and then the other ones come easier. Okay, let me remind you what you get. In the course, you get 4 live videos. You get about 41 pages documentation, which includes the transcript of the audio, a marketing plan, fundraiser, the guidelines, and the guidelines for churches. And these things aren't 50 pages each, folks. These are like 2 or 3 pages packed full of guidelines so that you can take them digestible chunks, rewrite them for your own use, and you'll have all the documentation you need to get going, less the actual agreement, which, I'm not an attorney, so it's really not kosher for me to be giving you legal agreements. But like I said, just keep it real simple about what they're supposed to do and what you're supposed to do. And, you can ask your lawyer to look at it, but don't have them create it because they'll scare off the prospects. So well, I should take that back. I shouldn't tell you not to get your lawyer to do stuff. That's not right. However, it's possible that if it's too big of an agreement, they'll be afraid of you. Okay. You get a sample fundraiser flyer. You get the 1-hour online training audio, and you're also going to get the bonus Wake 'em Up book. You get the downloadable Wake 'em Up book so you can start working on the high-end skills right away. And you'll get sample drawing forms that you can just cut into 4 pieces. Okay. And the first, well, we upped this to 50. Get a 30-minute one-on-one consultation because we're just buried with people here. And the orders are coming in. I don't think the ka-chings are getting through to you, but they're beating my ear to death. Okay. Here's the to order, greatinternetmarketing.com/fundraiser deal. That's going to take you to this page where you will click on one of these. This is 97, and this is the 3 payments of 39. And then I highly suggest you add the how to earn super large passive incomes using residual affiliate programs to your order. $10 off when you get this deal. Both of them are, you see too many of them in the cart here now because I've been practicing with this. And that's what you'll see, and you just click checkout, and you'll put your credit card information in. And for those of you, I always tell you, just give me your credit card, and I'll give it back to you when I'm done with it. so no, we're very careful with this stuff here. So you'll put it out, and you'll immediately get access to the stuff. And watch your email because you'll get a follow-up email in case you missed the course page. So that's that. Okay, let me take that away. Recap, you'll tap into a market that has little competition. That's important, very important for you. You can talk about topics that wouldn't sell in a million years in the corporate and association market. You can build a massive database. And I know Colin's getting me to keep me, we're going to stay afterwards and answer questions. Probably at least a half an hour. So but get your order in so you get in that top 50. And we're also recording, so you'll get a replay if you think you missed anything. And also, if you want to go order now, you'll be able to just play the end of the replay to get what you missed. You can do lots of good for people. That's part of my whole business model. And it's a really dirt cheap price to skyrocket your business. I mean, lots of people are charged thousands of dollars for stuff that I charge $100 for, and all day long, and mine's better. So there you go. And of course, you get my personal guarantee, 60-day money back. As soon as you take the consultation, you agree that this was a good course, and finally, you're in control. There's the link to order, greatinternetmarketing.com/fundraiser deal. Now, some of you probably took a lot of notes tonight, and you think you can do this, and you probably can, but the deal is, folks, is I blazed a trail and figured out where the trouble things are so that you don't have to bomb or run into things you don't know what to do because you didn't take this really cheap course. So even if you think you could do this, I know that a great percentage of you kind of know the basics. There's still a lot of little pitfalls that I'd be here for 6 hours teaching you all this stuff. So that's what the course. Okay, now how to order. There it is again, greatinternetmarketing.com/fundraiser deal. All right. Now, here's the things I promised you for hanging in there to the end, the genius techniques. These are little-known speaking techniques that you can add to your speeches, and they are powerful. There's about 5, 6, 7 of these spread out through my Wake 'em Up book, but I'm going to give you 3 of them right here. Number 1, this is a cool thing. You know, I've done a lot of the same material so many times in so many groups, I know what they're thinking. And so sometimes if I really want to get more interaction out of the crowd, sometimes I'll purposely omit material. Purposely. Why? Because somebody will then raise the question. I'll start getting interaction. I already know the answer, so I look like I'm very slick that I really know my stuff, but I really set them up for interaction by omitting material. So that's a genius technique. Probably none of you have ever heard of that before, and that's you've heard it here first. All right, next genius technique, split stories. This is so powerful, folks. I can tell you a little story here. I used to speak quite frequently at MPI events, and for those of you that don't know, in the days when I started, it was called Meeting Planners International, and then they changed the name to Meeting Professionals International. But I spoke for them lots and lots and lots of times, and a lot of tells me that, well, Tom, don't be upset if people get up and leave because, you know, they're taken out from work and, you know, they have to get back to work. So don't feel bad if near the end people leave. I said, and I'm in my mind, I'm thinking, oh yeah, you watch. That's what I'm thinking. So I start out the event with a story, and then I get to a point in the story where it's called a cliffhanger. You see these, like the TV show 24 would do that to you all the time, where they get to a point, high intensity, and then they'd say, okay, next week. So you're going to start out a story near the beginning of your talk that comes to a cliffhanger. And then you're going to say, and I'll get back to the rest of this story a little later. Well, now nobody in this crowd wants to leave without hearing that story, and I didn't say I'm going to tell you at the end either, did I? It's kind of like the news that teases you that something's coming up in the next segment, but they lie about it. I don't lie about it. I just don't tell you when it's coming. So what happens is they can't wait to hear the end of the story, and they don't know when it's coming, so they have to listen to every single thing. Nobody even goes to the bathroom. And I mean, they almost pee themselves because they don't know what the end of the story is. So when you get to the end, then you finish the story. You get your big ovation. If at a meeting planner event, they're not going to buy at the back of the room. So you get your applause, polite applause, and a lot of times I did get ovations because it was so riveting to listen to me, and I had a real fun presentation. So that's called a split story. So and stories take a while to develop, and I got a whole section in the Wake 'em Up book on story development and tips to make you. I've got a tip that I could teach you in 3 minutes at the most that would instantly make you more interesting as a speaker. Guess what? It's in that Wake 'em Up book. So that's split stories. All right, now the time cut technique. Now, I can't remember the guy that taught me this. He was a past president of NSA. Terry Paulson's his name. So I learned this from somebody else and give full credit. And I spelled it wrong. It's technique, T-E-C-H-N-I-Q-U-E. Excuse me. I left out the N. But the time cut technique, see, if you start speaking regularly, you're going to see that your time gets cut. Almost never do they increase your time. However, when you speak enough, that will happen also. So I'm always ready with lots of material. But the time cut technique is, and this is a genius technique, because when other speakers have their time cut, I see them in the bathroom like sweating and walking back and forth and wondering what they're going to cut out. And then when I see them on stage, they start talking faster to try to get everything in because they hadn't been a professional and figured this out ahead of time. So ahead of time, number one, another orders are keep coming in. Bring it on. You still got time to get in the top 50 at the greatinternetmarketing.com/fundraiser deal. All right, so anyway, ahead of time, you have to plan what material will be cut if your time gets cut. In fact, sometimes I discuss this with the meeting planner because before I go on, I know the time's getting cut because they're running late. And so I go up to the meeting planner and say, okay, here's what I had planned to do, which we discussed, and you're telling me that we're cutting 20 minutes off my talk, so which material do you want me to cut out? And if they say they don't care, I already know what I'm going to cut out. If they care, then I do what they tell me. Now, one of the techniques inside of that, other than preparing ahead of time, is what Terry taught me, Terry Paulson, former president of the National Speakers Association, that makes the same point as a story that you were going to tell. So I might have a 3-minute story I was going to tell, and I can cut 3 minutes out just by making a quotation instead of telling the story. So that's a genius technique, and you have this all ready ahead of time. Now, I got to tell you, at my level, in my contract, I don't let them cut my time anymore. That's a thing of the past for me because I tell them right in the contract that's, you know, my time, I don't care whose time gets cut, my time doesn't, and if you don't agree to that, I'm not coming. And I'm not a diva about it or arrogant. I know that sounded a little arrogant, but it's just that I'm the one that cranks the big money at these events for people, and so if they aren't thinking straight and they mess with me, that's going to mess up my sales process. So anyway, that's in my contract. But for years, I had these techniques ready. That's a genius technique of how to be slick when your time is cut. Okay, great. So get over there and make your order. And now I'm going to stay on, and I don't have my timer ready, but I'm going to stay on. Carol, you mentioned if you are new to start in a library, do you mean as a fundraiser or just on your own? I mean actually do a fundraiser maybe for the library and in a smaller scale, because libraries, a lot of these speeches in libraries are 5 to 10 people show up. So you know, a little bit of money donated while you're honing your craft is not too much trouble for you to do. You know, it gets a fundraiser under your belt, and they might be a testimonial. See? Okay, so doesn't course include tips on how to easily create 3 hours of a program? My challenge is carving out the time to create content. Laura, the Wake 'em Up book is the part about creating your speech, and I personally know that you have far more than that material in you, so the course isn't designed for you to create your material, but the Wake 'em Up book will definitely help you, because the Wake 'em Up book is very logical. The Wake 'em Up book starts out at how to do openings, how to do the body of a speech, how to tell stories, how to do closing. So it's very logical. So all you have to do is plug in information. Okay, Tom, I'm curious, when you look back over your life, would you be willing to share with us the secret to your success? Stephen. Well, I think the secret to my success, Stephen, I mean, it's a little off topic, is that I treat people honestly. I am not afraid to work. I'm persistent. I guess if you had to pick 3 off the top of my head, those are it. Treat people honestly, work hard, and you know, people say work hard, work smart, not hard. Well, you know, that's kind of the same to me. I work smart and I work hard at it. But and then the persistence, that's the key, because too many people in today's society give up too easily. Okay, question, that's good if you can pick some out and tell me, because they're so tiny in the screen here. Are there any liability or legal issues? Well, first of all, anytime you're in any kind of business, you should probably have some business insurance. Now, it's going to be really dirt cheap, and I'll tell you what, I didn't have it when I started speaking, but it's so cheap because you're not in a high-risk situation. It's not like you're a landscaper working with heavy machinery and stuff like that. So your base business insurance would cover this, and then don't hurt anybody in the crowd. And I've spoken almost 3,000 times, and I know a crowd rushed the stage one time. They weren't trying to kill me, all right, but they did rush the stage, which I created, and a lady that had diabetes got her foot stepped on. So I learned a hard lesson there. I also was throwing something, or I wasn't throwing them. I had volunteers throwing things into the crowd, and somebody got their retina torn. And damn lucky that they were okay, because I would have had to, I'd have been sued out of business. So there's things you got to be careful of, but those were pretty big events that are wild. Most of you are not going to be doing that kind of stuff. Okay, does the course talk about who to contact in these organizations? The course doesn't talk about it because it's pretty obvious in the church. You're just going to talk to one of the church elders or the pastor, and the other organizations, it's virtually all the program director. I mean, Rotary, Kiwanis, everybody has a program director, and if they don't have, if it's not called that, they'll tell you the person to talk to. So in these kinds of deals, it's pretty easy to find the right person to talk to. Yes, you always finish the split story or people get mad at you. And if you forget, people are going to be really mad, and that's not a good thing. So make sure you finish it. There's tons and tons of stuff on fundraising out on the web. I've boiled it down to a method for speakers in my course. But if you just type in fundraising, there's major companies, and like I said, all the Hershey's and Keebler and all these places have fundraising departments and things. But we're bypassing those because a lot of them, the schools know about them already, and but the churches, they're just an untapped market. And then other groups that aren't well known at schools, like I said, the martial arts club or the archery club, they've never heard of any fundraising company approaching them. So you'd be the only one. The question is if somebody asks you for your product to review, that's not considered a kickback, is it? And so answer would be no, it wouldn't be considered unless they were kind of winking at you that they just wanted it for free. But that's on them. It's not you, because they put you in that situation. And it sounds like they would be a little fraudulent if they did and trying to get over on their company. But you just have to be careful when you're offering it not to put people in a bad situation. Is there a certain size church to approach? I would suggest, no matter who you are, you started with smaller ones, just to get your act together, to get all your paperwork together, to run into nuances that you just weren't expecting, and to get your testimonials, because the bigger the churches, the more they're going to worry about who they put in front of them. Except I called a church one time because they had a fraudulent guy on stage, and I told them about it, but it was too late by that point. So I always would start smaller because it's going to be easier to get some testimonials that then you can show to the larger ones. If you have already a big reputation, then you can skip that and go to the bigger one. No, the product doesn't go into what topics, but the topics, I discuss topics and more details on the fact that they need to be more general because you're going for large quantities. You don't want something so specific they can't sell any tickets or nobody would show up. So general topics can fly in this environment. The question is there a particular denomination? I have never known or heard that would be true. So we're looking through, and get your order in there if you haven't yet. What's that? Yeah, I know there's, you've been answering some all along too, right? Yeah. And the best way to find out who wants to raise money is to, number one, churches always do. Number two is any kind of civic group would be a potential because they all want to raise money. They either want it for themselves or they want to do something for somebody else. So you can be sure that any kind of civic group or club would be interested. Now, the person you talk to may not be interested or be a backwards kind of person that doesn't like this stuff, but overall groups are looking to do things, and they can do more things with money. So almost any group. And watch your paper and stuff for people or for groups that, you know, a lot of papers have a section in of weekly events that they put in for free for groups and stuff. Yeah, the question is you need to be more careful about testimonials. The Federal Trade Commission was cracking down because of lots of fake testimonials on the internet in particular, but across the board, because I have friends there and they tell me what kind of things they're looking at. And you just got to be careful with unsubstantiated claims. Now, and also for third-party endorsements. So if somebody said, you know, I made or I lost 42 pounds on this diet pill. Well, the Federal Trade Commission wants you to tell what's the average that people do. And it's almost impossible. In fact, we kind of laugh about it and actually joke about it. I usually say, most people, the average person, doesn't do anything with my stuff and leaves it sit on the shelf. That way I'm covered. But if I claimed that that Elon Bomani was the average person makes $1,000 the first try, then I would be violating. So you got to be careful, especially, and it's especially with money and weight loss. So if somebody says, "Oh, Tom was at the event and we loved him and he raised a lot of money for our group," that's never going to get you in trouble as long as it's true. But it's not money related and it's not weight loss related. So and if it happened to you, like I can say I made $2.1 million on a free ebook, which I did, and a lot of you got that upsell for that transcript that tells you how I did it. And if I can substantiate it, there's no trouble whatsoever. But if I made it up and I fudged the figures where I only made 1.5 million and I said it was 2.1 million, and somebody checked, then I'd be in trouble. But as long as you're not making unsubstantiated claims about yourself, and you're not using third-party endorsements that are not the average. Now you can say this is way above average. Average would be this, and most people don't do anything. But most of the time they're worried about financial claims and weight loss and things like that. And you can go look up the Federal Trade Commission ruling on the web, by the way, and read all the details. Question is approach through phone or email. I personally, if I was doing this, see, I don't believe in cold calling in any of my businesses except for this one specific thing, because these people are never going to call you. They don't even know this exists. They're not in the market for a speaker. So cold calling is okay with this, and I like calling better because you can, they hear who they're getting. They hear you're not a nutcase. It's too easy to just click an email and delete it, spam. So I would use phone calls to get this ball rolling. But the thing is after you get 4 or 5 of them under your belt, people are going to start talking. And then when you get the testimonials, videos, little POC-cam videos on the website of how much money you made, and pastor says that you built the playground for him because you raised so much money, then you're going to start getting your own calls, and you'll probably not be able to handle all of them after a while. The fundraising fairy is single, but probably most people would say not cute. But thanks for asking. Okay, I see a question about, yeah, the course is online, so everything is available online, but the whole course, right this moment, you can study it online. Oh, question is, what's a phone tree? A phone tree is where you have your volunteers are, let's say you had 10 volunteers to call people. That's called a phone tree. I don't know why, but so they would have a little script where they would call the members of their group or their congregation if it was a church, and they would say, if it's voicemail, they'd have one script. I think I've included these, to tell you the truth. I forgot to mention it in the marketing plan. I think I did put a little script in there. So it just tells them what to say on a voicemail and what to say if they get a live person. So it's but a phone tree is where you get a bunch of people calling, and it's usually volunteers. All right, so you can get your orders in there at greatinternetmarketing.com/fundraiser deal. And those of you, I'm pretty sure, I'm not sure we hit 50 yet, so You can get your order in, and you'll get your consultation. And that transcript, I'll tell you what, that transcript has changed my, I mean, it really has changed my life, and it's a great security blanket and insurance policy for you all out there, because I'll tell you what, that money, knowing that check's coming in every month, takes a lot of heat off of me, because I got 10 people on payroll and supporting all their families, and so that check coming in every month is great. And for you, if it's just supporting you, it's even better, because you don't have to pay it out. So get the transcript too. Yeah. No, there's no script to say what to the write to the pastor, because what I don't want you to do is sound like you're reading a script. And you're supposed to be this great speaker that's going to wow their crowd. See, so no script, and I don't want you using a script. At the most, I want you to put bullet points about this is what I'm doing. It's very simple. This is what I'm doing. I'm helping groups raise funds through the course of a seminar, and it's a low-risk deal, and then you ask them if they'd like to hear more about it. It's basically getting your foot in the door, and then you're explaining everything I explained on the webinar and what you're going to learn in the course of what individual obligations are. But no scripts for the cold calls for you, because you're supposed to be the glib speaker to wow the crowd, so I don't want a script for that. Okay, so I see orders are still coming in there, and Colin had to take a call there, but he's coming back to the question box. There we go. So I think we got about 5 more minutes that I'll stay and take questions if they're here. If not, you've got plenty to work on, folks, especially if you got that course. You're going to be watching my videos already, and you can download the MP3 file to your iPod or iPhone or Droid if you prefer. You can also listen right online. You can just click a button online, turn your speakers up. They're probably up because of this webinar. Oh, what kind of things can we talk about in the consultations? Well, I put a slide up there, but basically anything I'm qualified to talk about, and I will not BS you. So if you start asking me about accounting principles and what business entity I should be under, yes, I'm going to give you my opinion because of being in business, but no, I'm not going to suggest what's right for you because I'm not qualified, and that's one of the complaints I have with a lot of people out there. So you got to be careful about that, but it could be your speech construction, it could be your humor, your introductions, your onstage presence. I'll look at a short video clip of you, the way you dress, the way you move on stage, story development, all of those kinds of things. Anything internet related just about for small business I'm qualified to teach you because that's my main expertise. I mean, professional level speaking training and internet marketing are my main expertises. But entrepreneurship, I mean, I've had my own business since before I graduated from college. So small business, I've never had what's considered a big business, but I don't like those environments. I like small business environments, and that's why I stayed in them. Quite a few things that I'm qualified to tell you about, but sure, I won't waste time on telling you I don't know about. Oh, question: should the speeches at churches be denominational or specifically religious? No, I mean, people that belong to churches need all kinds of things, and I mentioned a topic earlier like how to keep your kids safe on the internet. Most parents are clueless, and they put on little, half-baked protectant, and the kids are laughing as they defeat the protection. So how to keep your kids safe, how to have a great relationship. So none of those are specifically church or religious related. People will show up for them because they'd rather come and support the church to get the knowledge than to go to some place they don't believe in or know about. Be realistic. No matter where I would go, I'm not any kind of household name outside this little niche of mine. Some people will only go to support the church. And guess what? They still bought a ticket, so you're happy. And then if you do a great job when you're there, you'll convert them into a follower, and they might buy stuff, and they'll get in on the drawing, and then you'll reach out to them over time, and then you could have a lifetime customer out of it. So no, it doesn't have to be just religious. I was invited to speak at the Bar Association, and how can I make money speaking to them? Well, see, if you're invited to speak, that's a different story. That means they've already know the deal with speakers. They already have in mind that they're not going to pay you other than maybe travel expenses, or maybe they do pay you. Maybe they ask you how much you charge, but that's not the same as you approaching a group that's trying to make funds or to raise funds. So that's basically a speaking engagement question, not a fundraiser question. And so the answer is if they offer to pay you, you give them your fee schedule and you know, your expenses. Or if they want you to do it for free, you try to get expenses at least. If you really want to do it, you try to get the database so you can follow up with people. But that's again, that's not a fundraising situation. Bob says he's already going through the course and it's excellent. Thanks, Bob. I appreciate that. And it's many of you got the WordPress site creation course that I do, but that's a lot of technical details and that's a much more extensive course. This is basically what you're supposed to do, what they're supposed to do. This is a much easier course to go through than my WordPress site creation course. So those of you that were a little daunted by that, this is much, much easier. There's no technical stuff at all, other than the fact if you're going to collect the money for these things, then you need to have at least PayPal and hook shopping cart, which I'd be glad to get you into my Kickstart cart. And that's about as technical as it gets. If you've got a website, you just have to put a fundraising page on it, and then so it's not too technical there. You know, you can go through this. You could go through this literally in a day, and be calling people tomorrow. All right. So I mean, somebody gung ho that stays up late like me could go through the whole course tonight if they wanted to, and then you can't read the whole Wake 'em Up book, and you can't be great on stage overnight, but you can get the idea and all the details of this thing tonight just by signing up at greatinternetmarketing.com/fundraiser deal. Yeah, the links to all that stuff you have access permanently as long as I'm alive, and it probably will stay up there until somebody forgets to pay the bill after I'm dead. So, and this is quite an evergreen type thing. So the WordPress course, you know, I'd have to update and so forth. But these things I have been doing for years, just as I'm telling you about it. Minor things with regard to the web and asking them if they'd like text reminders. But other than that, the concepts of I've been doing these for about, 18 years, something like that. So they'll be up for as long as you need them. Oh, the WordPress site course is, I think it's at greatinternetmarketing.com, the same link here, but WordPress e-course. WordPress e-course. It also has an upsell. It's the same price, but it also has an upsell that is a transcript on how to repurpose your material in 19 different ways. See, a lot of people, you know, they want to make a new product every time. Well, most of them haven't tapped out the value of their other product. So you can have a book, an e-book, a teleseminar, coaching, a physical book, I said e-book, a Kindle book, a coaching program. I mean, there's 19 different ways I outline in that transcript. And so I'm pretty sure it's greatinternetmarketing.com/WordPress e-course. And there's a bunch of cool bonuses with that too. Okay, folks. Well, I think I did my duty. We've got a lot of people still on, so I appreciate that. Head up. We're going to leave. I'll leave the order page up. Jot that down because we're going to close shortly, and we're hoping that the recording came out on this okay, because like I said, we had a lot of craziness before we started here, and so the replay of this probably won't be ready till late next week, I think, if everything went smooth. If it didn't, then I don't know what we're going to do. greatinternetmarketing.com/fundraiser deal, and it also tells you how to collect your bonuses and consultations with me. I think everybody got one. I didn't count them all up. But, you know, it'll be if you still order, I won't be able to turn things off until after I get off and start counting these things. So now, that's cool. So watch. Also, don't forget, I have lots of great webinars and replays at tomantionwebinars.com, tomantionwebinars.com, where this level of content and total high-level, usable, immediately usable stuff is the way I roll. You never get just a sales pitch out of me. If I don't fulfill my goal of teaching you, then I'm not going to offer you anything to buy. But guess what? I always offer you something to buy because I always come through and teach you stuff. So anyway, go ahead and I'll leave the sales letter for a little while. This is Tom Antion signing off.